Good evening, gentlemen, there on stream. Mac, our voices are now live for your information.
Okay.
Hello, Intersims,
Hello.
Christer, Rob, and Geert, and other Rob. Welcome, guys. Yeah, what a weekend. What a weekend. I submitted my report to the customer just over an hour ago, and I thought to myself, you know what, this withdrawal symptoms is getting to me. Why don't I stream? So I came up with a brilliant plan. Okay, I've been threatening to do this for a while. This is not part of the tour, so I'm going to have to refly this.
Fuel is all loaded up, and you are good to go.
This route. It is the first leg of the high altitude challenge tour in the VA. So I made a free flight. The flight plan is in the description below the video. And me and Mac were sitting and talking here. I don't think any one of us have tested this high altitude pressurization system in the new Zibo, you know, since this 4.02 full was released. So we're going to treat this as a nice relaxing test flight. We're going to check what it does, if it works, if it doesn't work, if we need to involve Twixter and Zibo into this facility and stuff like that. Yeah, so now, obviously, you know, I mean, we're going to enjoy ourselves, but we'll keep our eye out and have a look out for anything that might be amiss. Okay, so the first thing I want to do quickly is try and figure out where this thing is, because we need to enable it. It's already enabled for me, but I need to go find it quickly so you guys can go find it. There. High altitude landing is on. Okay, so a normal 737-800 is not made to land above 10,000 feet. Okay, Mac was actually talking about the realistic limit, which is at least 1,500 foot below 10,000. Okay, something in that is the ballpark. They don't usually operate these aircraft unless you buy the Boeing option. And the Boeing option, this high altitude landing facility, is a separate system. Let's go this way. It's a separate pressurization system used specifically for high altitude landings, and you have to switch it on or off. Okay, so you have to enable it in the EFB, and then you have to have it on when you need it on. All right. The one thing I didn't do is open up my checklist, because there's a way to use it as well. It's very similar to what you used to, but with a couple of tricks. All right, so let's just quickly open this checklist and get it handy for myself here. Where are you going, sir? Come back. There we go. So
737-800 is 8,400 without the high altitude package, and 12,000 with.
Okay. Well, yeah, we're going to push the limits. I know that some of these airports with density altitude, they go up to like 14,000. So the physical altitude might be 12, but the density altitude, and we're going to talk about that just now as well, could push it kind of way over. Okay, so I just want to get my checklist in the right position, because, yeah, there we go, I've got it. Okay, so Mac, as a matter of interest, Arequipa, where we're going to land, I hope I pronounced that correctly, is physically at 8,400. Right, that is according to the Jefferson charts, Navigraph, etc. Okay, that's rounded off. All right, but if you guys look at the pinned chat comment, in the chat comments, look at the very top, there's a pinned comment. If you click on that, it takes you to a website where I've actually done a search, and the density altitude currently at this airport is reported at 10,336. All right, so that is like 2,000 more than the physical altitude. That is what your aircraft is going to experience. That is the thinness of the air that you need to take into account. That is the challenge. Okay, so you guys are in for a treat. Maybe we land, maybe we don't. We don't know if it works yet, if that was transferred to the new model already. We're going to all find this out together, but the whole idea is to then use the special checklist and to make use of the high altitude landing facility. Okay, because let me give you a couple of other things which we'll discuss, as we do these flights in future as well, so I can just assume not everybody's going to watch every stream, right? But legally, the flight crew needs to be on oxygen half an hour before they start preparing the aircraft, okay? You cannot do your pre-flights and walk around the aircraft and touch this aircraft if you're not fitted with oxygen, right? So there's that. Then the second thing is, without this pressurization modification system, this modified system, what will happen is your altitude horn will go on the moment you close the doors. In fact, it will probably go off even before then, because this aircraft is going to realize it's at the incorrect altitude. There's a pressurization problem. All right. So part of the checklist, part of the proceedings is to just handle things a little bit differently and to make sure that the aircraft also knows that there's going to be a bit of difference in the pressure, right? Just give me a second. Okay, sorry, I just got an email, not important right now. By the way, hello, Steve. I see you came in as well. Hello, welcome. All right, so we're going to just do the flight as normal. We are currently at sea level. All right, we are in Chile, I think. Yeah, at the sea. So we don't have any special precautions we need to worry about now. And then what we're going to do is we are just going to load the packs, because I don't think that's happened yet. Yeah, packs needs to load still. Right, and then we're just going to give it a bash, see what happens, and then report back to Zibo if we need to, and then he can, between him and Tim, whoever needs to do it, can just update the system. If you guys have questions, please feel free to ask. If I don't know the answer, we'll find out for you anyway. So remember that. Right, packs are boarding now at least. Hello, George. Yeah, I remember I saw something from you about that. It's not for the whiskey compass. The hidden click spot is for the light inside of the compass. So if you move your mouse over there, you see it changes the cursor. You can switch the light on and off. So instead of breaking your neck and coming here to try and click it, the click spot is just there. Same thing. Yes, light, yeah, got it. Right, I'm gonna start the APU then. This is going to be fun. Oh, that thing is similar to your toga switch. I mean, you can press that switch if you can manage to find the click spot. There it is. You can click it. But in general, you know, that's why the mic button is set up as toga, because it's so darn difficult to actually get to that switch. Hello, Christopher. Same to you. Into Sims, do you realize that this oxygen mask also works? So if you get your hypoxia, you can actually switch on the oxygen mask and you won't pass out. Do you know that? And then you switch it off over here. That also works. Also, another thing that a lot of people don't know about is this also works. Hey, if you get the landing gear failure, you can actually come and pull the wires if you really want to. Right, sounded like everything closed up, so let's do this.
Trim up.
Right. Yeah, oxygen works. Right, you ready? So let's go. Before start procedure.
Before start procedure. Before start procedure complete. Ready for before start checklist.
Start number 2 engine.
Starting number 2 engine.
Jacob, we're testing the high altitude pressurization system. Christer, I don't know. We're going to find out. I don't know.
25N2.
I can't remember if I used her the last time that we did this.
Starter cutout.
Start number 1 engine.
Starting number 1 engine.
Thank you, Trish. Oh, we didn't go on the bus. My bad.
N2.
Actually, you know what? We could go there. Why are we not getting our power back? Oh, there it comes.
Starter cutout. Engine start procedure complete.
Awesome. That this baby's back on track, because I've been testing the level up aircraft in the background as well. And every time I move between the two, I definitely need to do this calibration. Before taxi procedure.
Before taxi procedure. Ready for before taxi procedure. Before taxi procedure complete. I am
Before
ready for
taxi
before taxi
checklist.
checklist.
Before taxi checklist.
Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for takeoff. Before taxi checklist. Generators on. Probe heat on. Anti-ice. Wing anti-ice off. Engine anti-ice off. Isolation valve. Auto. Engine start switches. Continuous. Recall.
Recall obviously is this one. And then we can just say checked.
Checked. Auto brake. Rejected takeoff. Engine start levers.
Engine start levers, idle detent.
Flight control.
We did check them.
Flight controls is not checked.
Oh, we did. We did.
Before taxi checklist is not complete.
Wow. Anyway, I can redo it, but the main thing is that we did it, and I don't know if she's just skipping it, whatever. But anyway, that was the last item. Hope that helps, George.
Taxi lights on.
What I have found, and I don't know if it's the same thing, but what I found is if you don't kick the rudders all the way both ways, that's usually what fails it. And if you don't pull the yoke and turn the yoke absolutely to the max each way, she fails you. So I might have missed one of those procedures maybe by a millimeter, and that's good enough for her to fail you. Yeah, make sure that you reach the edges of all those surfaces that you need to check. Remind me on the next flight, I'll do it again for you, because I know it works, but like a millimeter will make a difference. Before takeoff procedure.
Before takeoff procedure. Before
I
takeoff
haven't
procedure
tried it. I know a couple of guys have that spoken
Ready
to
for
me about
before
it, but
takeoff
I
checklist.
haven't. You're welcome. Right. Before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Flaps.
Flaps 5, green light, detent.
Flaps 5 set, green light, detent. Stabilizer trim. 5 units set.
Hello, Marco.
Transponder. TAR
Buddy.
is set.
Hello, Nico. Hello, Mike.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Let's go.
Hello, Marco.
Are you well?
All well, sir. Thank you very much.
Good.
Approaching 1-5.
I just came in, so
Runway
that is being
16 left
tested
confirmed.
from previous version, Nico.
We're going to quickly do a test on the high altitude landing pressurization system.
Got text.
If you look at the stream
I
on
am ready
YouTube,
for
you'll see the
takeoff.
very first comment, a pinned comment. I've got a link to a website that gives you the density altitude of the airport where we're going to land, and it's above 10,000. So we want to see how that pans out for us.
Super, I say thanks.
Stabilized.
Oga, let's go.
Takeoff thrust set. Throttle hold.
I don't know if the winds have changed, but when I did the planning half an hour ago, there was an 8-knot tailwind. You can only land on runway 10 where we're going to land. No, you can't come from the other side. So you've just got to take what it gives you. So we've got density, altitude, and winds to contend with. Right. Here we go, guys. Here we go.
Acceleration altitude. Flaps up and set.
Yeah, that sounds nice. See transition altitude, yes, 10,000, but we've got there's 2 altitude restrictions. Both of these waypoints have altitude restrictions.
Approaching transition. Flight level 100. Landing lights switches on. Transition level. Ready for approach checklist.
Wow. You're a bit early, Michael. There we go.
Transition altitude. Flight level 100. Landing lights switches off.
How's it, Dave? Oh, you're welcome to come sit here now that you've discovered that. Sounds good. Into some. I'm glad, Dave. This is my first try with this one, eh? This is my first try. Hello, Alex. I hope you guys have coffee. Mine is cold already, it seems, but I'm still enjoying it. Oh, Dave, I'm still upset with MK Studios selling us that rubbish for Explain 12. And I think the guys got offended when I actually called them out on it because they're not talking to me anymore. They're ignoring me like a stop street. So, I mean, honestly, I hope they leave the Explain market now forever and ever and don't even bother to come back, in my opinion. Because if they want to sell crap like that and they don't bother to listen to their users, then they're no use anyway. So, every time I startup at Lisbon, I've got errors. Whoever did that Lisbon conversion for them did an absolutely shockingly shoddy job.
I would say don't even get started with the was it Meganite or
Yeah.
Meganite?
Yeah, Magnite.
Yeah.
Now there are too many guys taking us for a ride, and it's just annoying.
It's what it is from a standpoint of a professional developer who works on this kind of stuff. From my standpoint, it's a lot of hobbyists who don't have a background in software engineering or development, and they start with it and feel like they can go further, and they try to go payware, but yet they don't have the capability or understanding to go to a level that would actually make it like capable.
Yeah. I agree, Krister. To an extent, you know, if you've got guys like Andrew, for instance, Verticalsim. I mean, when he did his conversions from 11 to 12, he made one little mistake and he corrected it at some point in time after we had a nice chat about it, right? But, you know, you can only be so nice to some people so long, and when you clearly see that they have no intention of even talking to you, that's when it really gets bad. Then that's when I just turn my back and walk away as well.
That and simple features or simple things that you know are simple because of the way that the code's set up or how stuff is implemented. You're just like, all right, that's just cheap. Like, you guys seriously wouldn't fix this one thing like you would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole Meganite 787 X-Plane 12 update. Like, I had some extra money to kill, and I'm like, fuck it, let's see how bad this really is, and saw some of the horrible shit with it, and the failure of the updater not working, and then I was like, you know, just curious, the nav data issues. I'm like, are you kidding me? How are you this, you know, like, come on, you're using the default thing too.
Relics, yeah, just be careful with your language. We're streaming on YouTube. They're going to block this monetization on the stream.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, Christopher, I'm talking about the MK Studios Lisbon LPPT software that's available on the org store. The only thing I haven't done yet is to actually write a nasty letter to the Explain store and tell them to remove it, because these guys are obviously not interested. I mean, they're making their money in Microsoft now. So, you know, I think they just wanted a quick buck, you know, to come and sell that crap to us. I had the one in Explain 11, which is the one that they've converted to 12, and I loved it. I still love it. But every flippant time you get in that area, you get an error. You get a message that you need to check the log because there's something wrong. And I try to be nice with the guys. You can go check my discussion on their Discord. It's there for public to see. And they just decided in their own wisdom they're just going to stop speaking to me. So, what must I do? No problem, Dave. Yeah. Well, Christopher, up until this stage, there was nothing wrong with their work. But Lisbon is like the Rubicon, man. It's the division. That's the divide. And, you know what I don't think they understand is it's now having an impact on my decision whether I want to buy their Microsoft stuff as well. Because I'm not going to buy something and then there's no support. You know, so if they do this to me in Explain, who says they're not going to do that to me in Microsoft? See what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you know, things spiral, and at the end of the day, they lose their good name, and it's their own fault. This community is very small, and when you take people for a ride like that, it's going to take a few days, and everybody's going to know about it. I mean, how difficult is it to start it up, You see what the problem is? To either add or subtract the problem, ask Kristen. It's going to take them 5 minutes, if even. Add, subtract, whatever you need to do, recompile it, push an update to the org. That's it. End of story, 5 minutes.
What's the issue with it right now? Like, I don't have any payware sceneries for X-Plane because I usually either develop them myself for freeware or something, but like...
I'm gonna lie to you, I haven't looked at it in a while,
We will
okay,
see
because
your
of this
landing.
issue. You know, I try and sidestep it now. So it's either that there is a texture missing or an object missing, something to that effect, and then you get that error come up on the top right hand side of X-Plane, and it says to you, the scenery won't look right, whatever. Check your log file.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, either they removed a file or they renamed something, or it's a simple, you know, like
Yeah.
I could probably fix it myself, but it's just one of those, like, it shouldn't be up to us
Exactly.
to fix it.
Exactly.
It's just
Well, Alex,
like right now I'm working on a freeware. Oh, sorry, I was like because right now I have open version. I've been working on a couple of different sceneries for freeware with custom stuff, and my own custom library with CDP as well, the $0 payware guy, and been working on like TF Green Airport, Providence, Rhode Island, Tweed, New Haven, a new, much improved one, and Memphis is going to be my large one that I'm working on.
Cool. That sounds nice. Alex, as a matter of interest, you can go to the Flight Tampa forum and you can go to their Facebook page. I have stopped talking to them about EM as well because, again, they just ignore me. But I've got a bit of a history with Flight Tampa from P3D days, where whoever that owner or chief developer is, he doesn't like it when we fix his mistakes, you know. So, and now that I've, you know, asked him politely, I'm still at the polite phase with him, you know, please do something about EM. He just ignores you. He couldn't do stuffs about it. Yeah, it's terrible. It's a pity. You know, someone whose scenery I really enjoy, and his support
1000 to
is
level
absolutely brilliant. I need to remember his name now. He's the guy that made Charles de Gaulle scenery. I'll get his name just now. Oh, hold on, I need to go look it up.
Payware, which one?
Payware. He's made quite a few nice sceneries for X-Plane. I really, really like his stuff. Give me a second, I'll tell you now if I can just find it here. Thai models. You can buy Thai models. He's like boundless. You know, they just make good scenery. I really like these sceneries. Yeah, vertical as well. Me and Andrew go back way. Mr. X, yeah. Mr. X must just learn not to include orthos with his scenery, because we all got orthos of our own. And when he includes it, he cuts out the rest of the tile, you know. So that'll be good if somebody can give him the message, you know. Because he's.
I thought he did that with Mr. X Boston and a couple others. Like he has was it?
Did he?
EDX. He has a file, at file that you can launch to remove your ortho.
Okay, because I think Munich is the one I had that the last time I looked at it was one of those. I must actually go look. Maybe there's an update, because that'll be really cool. Yeah, Boundless is excellent. Yeah, Dave, as long as these things become optional, that we don't lose the rest of our tile, I'm happy. Then it's cool. Right, okay, so let's quickly have a look. We're at 37,215 nautical miles for top of descent. All right, so we've got a fair way to go. Yeah, I've had some good times with Boundless people. Always quick to help. Akbar. No worries. The fun is only coming.
Well, that reminds me, I still have to do the new cockpit model for the Sparky 747. I was working on that for a while.
That's one of the aircraft I've never ever looked at. I've got the SSG 747, and I don't even fly that. I mean,
Well, yeah, if you have that, then you're pretty much good.
yeah, but I mean, I'm so busy with Zibo, I don't have time to watch and learn and fly other stuff.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
This is my first flight for the weekend. I was getting withdrawal symptoms. How's it, Mohammed? Okay, George, fine. Enjoy. We'll talk later. All good, Akbar, all good. The freezing cold of last week has dissipated and it's now back to normal springtime, so we're all happy. I had my motor car, the air conditioner that packed up, the compressor packed up a while ago. I had that fixed on Friday, so now I'm driving like a grand man again. Thanks, George. Stay well. You sound happy, Dave. Yeah, I'm glad. Ooh. sunshades. Yeah, that'll be cool.
You know, that brings up a question. What does the like who does the 3D modeling for the Zibo stuff, or is it still like just on and off?
Jaybrick is the current guy, and previously it was Jorge, but Jorge is not part of the team anymore. So if Jaybrick doesn't do it, Yeri, then Zibo has to do it. You know, but they are both so busy with their own stuff now that I don't think 3D modeling is anywhere close to a priority.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I've been flying the Flight Factor 777 V2, and oh my god, after playing around with that, like I did a 6-hour flight yesterday from Milan to Honolulu.
You like it?
Oh, it's absolutely like amazing. I can't explain in words just like how it's like what's the word what's the saying I say to describe it? It's like someone comparing PMDG's 777 to the Flight Factor. That's what's the board PG with their own P. It's the experience because of just how much detailed depth of systems and like
Nice.
Simulations in it.
Nice. I'm wondering what is wrong with this weather, and that must be a Barrow thing.
What are you testing out today on the Zibo?
The high altitude landing pressurization system.
Are you using explain weather or
No, xEnviro.
it's Enviro?
Yeah. Never seen me do this.
Maybe there was a big shift on
There must
the
have
weather
been,
and
yeah, there must have been something changed drastically in the background. Zibo explained to us a couple of days ago, you know, briefly how the Barrow and everything works and how things update in the weather and all. I'm not clever enough to repeat what he said, but I mean, it gets quite interesting.
Yeah, my day job is working on the C-130J for DCS World, and working on making sure that's up to spec for our government contract with it as well. With like Block 40's, Block 7.1, which is one of the software versions, but then also contracted to do Block 8.1, which is like there's some changes in the cockpit, like physical wise for yoke and everything, as well as like software updates. Like everything software wise is completely different. And the C-130J has like new countermeasure systems, VNAV, and display modes. It's like, oh god, okay. So like the amount of complexity that's in there, like I can relate completely to what you just said, because like I just do the 3D art stuff and animations and texturing, and then my programmer's like, oh well, this system ties into here, and this is how this works, but it only works if this bus system's online, like XYZ. It's like, okay.
Yeah, Zibo needs to be very, very clever, intelligent, and on the ball with all of these things, because he needs to take all of these funny things into account as the aircraft progresses, you know, flies through the air. And it's mind-boggling if you really sit and think about it. It is mind-boggling. All the things that have to work
depending on what
together.
your simulation is, you can't just fake some of it. Like that.
Yeah.
That's like, it's noticeable if you try to fake with
Yes.
parameters, like an engine or like how a system operates.
Absolutely.
It's noticeable.
No, absolutely. No, you can't fake it. Right, okay, let me just get all my data here. All right, okay.
I'm curious, is he writing the simulation in Lua, like fly with Lua, or is he doing it mostly with
C++.
like C?
C++.
Oh, perfect.
He started with XLua, which is the native X-plane Lua stuff. Okay.
Right, but that
And-
I don't like Lua. I only do
No,
like
no,
C++
he ran out-
Python because it's not.
Yeah, he ran into complications because it's got limit. It's very limited what you can do, and then he realized, no, you need something better, stronger, different, and that's when he went to C++.
And not only that, because of the sophistication that he's built in, using XLua, it runs within the X-plane environment.
Yeah.
By using C++, it runs outside X-plane
Yes.
in another core.
As a separate plugin that's kind
Yeah.
of running, and it's noticeable because those who write a whole bunch of software in C+ and are, you know, on different modules, like I've been trying to convince was it the guy who's the Sparky guy, like no, it's like, oh, Lou is great. I'm like, yeah, but the more crap or just bloatware basically you build into it, the more it's going to slow down the entire X-plane system, and you can only go so far as to implementing certain systems. I could read C++, I cannot do that with Java. I mean, not Java, Lua. The other thing I realized with X-plane is compared to MSFS, like I'm part of like a whole bunch of different like just like freeware community groups doing art or development stuff for multiple flight sims, but my main job is of course like getting paid for working on the DCS stuff. But seeing all of them and how all of them have different systems and how they interact. X-plane is as close to DCS than a lot of people realize, because you have to build your own framework basically for the flight sim stuff, but you can pull in like flight model data. That's at least better than what you have in DCS, but you have to build that yourself. But in MSFS, it's so easy to just create like something simple so quickly with really poor simulation. It's like, and just release it quickly. No wonder why MSFS is just filled with low quality grab, like scam almost. It's like, you know.
It doesn't. Alright, just as a matter of interest, we're going to do a VOR approach. There is no ILS here, so if we have Ian, we'll use Ian.
I think one of my testers for DCS made the P8 Poseidon mod for the Zibo Super Jaffa, I think it is.
Yeah. I'm wondering whether they'll do the new one. Mind you, that's based on a 700, the wedge one.
Oh, yeah, the
The E3, the wedge tail.
Yeah, that'd be
That's
pretty cool.
based on a 700. So
I would be curious to see like a bunch, like he had was it Jaffa was mentioning one time when we were flying the C-130s, like, so how good of a framework is it that you have set up? I'm like, well, technically we have it set up so that our core framework, you can just put in any 3D model with the correct animations assigned to an argument number, and then queue up certain base systems in the cockpit to find where the people are and put in a base flight model, and you can start testing it right away. So he's like, does that mean you could possibly make a P8? I'm like, that'd be cool. For DCS with the what is it, harpoons on the wingtips, and like, oh, that'd be interesting.
Well, you can put with presumably with the model, you could add the hard points on the wing, and there's
It's relatively
already
easy, but in
there's
X-plane,
already a there is a P8 livery you can download, but you have to amend some files. And the trouble is, every time there's an X-plane update, you have to reapply it all.
Mhm.
But it puts all the extra antennas on and so forth, and the new wing tips.
Yeah, it's because it's not packaged with the main system, and it requires what is it? It's basically a if it was to be fixed so it works with everything there, it would need to be a separate model addition into the core Zibo system, and on top of that, you would have to have its own because it has parameters for flight model changes because of the wingtips and such. It would have to be its own aircraft file.
Yeah. Well,
Otherwise,
basically that's basically what it roughly does. You create separate ACF. I've used it because I was flying search and rescue missions or flying out over the North Sea, doing low level over the Orbx and so forth.
Sounds like a lot of fun. That's the thing that X-Plane has. It's like, okay, you have the capability to add like missiles and certain systems and stuff, but like the core of X-Plane, it's not really about fighter jets and stuff. Like,
if you go to the v4.02.21 one, the bloke who did the videos for that, he's actually done a video of the P8 and the variations that are included in that, given the limitations from security point of view. But the cockpit, you see, is got quite a few modifications. It's got all the normal stuff, but there's some other stuff added into it.
yeah, and there's a couple extra pages in the CDU for countermeasures, as well as fuel calculations for pumping and air refueling. Yeah, there's a lot of different stuff in there. I have pictures of the cockpit on a couple of them. What
You have, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's got HF and
it's got more than 8 chaff, I can tell you that.
Well, it's got the military radio as well, because it can do TACAM.
Oh, yeah, it's got hold on, exactly what it is.
It's got UHF, HF, and VHF, and it can do TACAM navigation.
That's just a heads up, eh? Once we hit top of descent, if you guys want to continue your discussion, it might be easier to go sit next door.
No, you carry on, Nico.
Yeah, we're just
Because
we're just filling in
busy.
time.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna get busy soon.
So, have you talked about your altitude density and what you're going to have to set, etc.?
No, not yet. This is what I'm planning on doing. As we're doing it, I'll explain and go through it, because otherwise, if you don't do it while you're talking about it, people are going to forget. So it's easier to just put the stuff together.
Have you done all your descent winds and everything?
Yeah, all of it is done. I'm just waiting for top of descent, and then we're going to ride it down. Hello, Gilbert.
I sent you a couple of things, MC, with the specifications of the equipment.
Ah, right, thank you. Yeah, I've seen all the what it can carry and all the rest of it. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
I've got more manuals and stuff, but I can't share those.
No, that's right. Go and happen. Where have you sent me them?
Discord direct message. I just messaged you.
Ah, hang on. Oh, message requested. Ah, Reddit's, I've got to accept it. Thank you. Oh, blimey. Right. Well, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, you could see you could put the hard point on and you could actually put missiles on the Zibo if you wanted to, if you did a separate ACF. Anyway, Nico's got his descent to do.
Yeah, it's almost there.
What I didn't know about the T8, by the way, is the wing structure got updated to be stronger. They could actually
Oh yeah,
told
the
my
fuselage
pilots-
and the wings use thicker metal.
and it's a completely different frame structure too on the wings. They're able, and
Yeah.
it's got on the engines 2 electric drives.
Yeah, much bigger ones, yeah. Got a bulge on the cow. And did you notice that
Pilots
the...
told me that they're able to pull about 3 or 4 Gs in like like instantaneous Gs, not sustained. So in case of an emergency or something, they're just kind of able to
Yes.
keep the plane destroying itself. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, the extra thickness is also because search and rescue, they're likely to do a lot of low-level firing over the sea, etc.
Yeah, that can be enough on the aircraft.
500 down. Yeah, 500 down to 250 feet, which ups the fatigue measurings. It's the... Tell me to shut up, Nico, if you need
Ready
to
for
interrupt.
descent procedure.
Yeah, yeah.
The new wedge, they've 2 airframes, they bought used 700 737s, and they're converting them, and it's taken 3 years to convert one airframe so far. It did its first flight test for the UK on 9 days ago.
Oh, to keep it up.
Well, it's all the structure for the wedge bit on the top. There's video stuff that's built into it. There's a whole load of stuff that
Oh
they
yeah, the Bombay thing. I forgot about that too. Fair
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
You can't just
You
have
see,
go out to the plus on just you know, it doesn't look like that.
you notice the tail, the what's it, the magnetic on the P8
Yeah.
for
That's how they
detecting
find
submarines.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see that there's 2 different varieties? The Indians
Yeah,
have
the
got
only
the old
Indians are the only ones that use the extended was it side and
yeah,
like,
the old analog
like,
one,
yeah.
yeah. but that requires them to fly down lower level to use it.
Yeah, the KC-46, as much as I hate that aircraft, because I'm a KC-10 forever guy.
They've,
I've been in
I
the
see the
joint
last. Have you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
KC-10. I saw the last one flew the other day.
Yeah, it did. It was a day of mourning, I'll say that much.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I flew in the cockpit several times for the full flight, and they have such a character, you know. And I know a lot of pilots and crew, and I got a couple of hours. So I actually have from the full D certified and signed off flight hours of a DC-10/KC-10. So technically, I have flight hours on my actual flight logbook for that because they counted. So, fun thing about that is if you're rated for KC-10, you're rated for a DC-10 and MD-11.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, that plane was something special. I tell you, like the KC-10s, they had character. They were more powerful than people realized they were. They can do things that the KC-46 still can't do. But the KC-46 has some really, really impressive classified stuff that it can do. So you're talking about like a data server system flying airborne.
The nearest I've got to a KC-10 is the TriStar.
Classic. They never grew on me for some reason. I don't know why I don't like them. I just
Since we're at top of descent, so
right. Okay, carry on,
taking
Nico.
over now again. So Christer was asking about the calculations, and I must be honest, I'm too lazy for that. It's easier to use the E6BX website than use the computer here to actually calculate it. So on screen, Mac, I'm not sharing it with you guys because it's being, done on YouTube, but you can follow there if you really want to see it.
Yeah.
I can send you the link also. Let me actually just do that. I'm going to put this link of the page we are looking at in Skymatix chat so you can open it your side, okay? There you go. All right, so basically what this tells us there is our density altitude is 10,336 feet. All right, the elevation of the airport is there, so you can see there's quite a difference in where it's actually at and where it feels that it's at. All right, and we're gonna have to compensate now for the feel where it's at, because technically when you get out it's going to feel like you're above 10,000 foot, so your oxygen's going to be less, the air is going to be thinner, all kinds of things like that. And this is where that setting now in the EFB comes into play, and where you have this little extra button that you need to activate. If I can just take that off screen quickly, that one over there. All right, so then the next thing what we are going to do is we're going to use the APU to give oxygen and air to the guys at the back, and we're going to then basically switch off the engine bleeds so that the engine can keep all its air. In other words, let me rephrase that. We're going to switch off these two little switches over here. All right, so the engine bleeds will come off. The APU bleed will come on, and we will configure these switches to make sure that the APU feeds the back while we keep all the bleed air to ourselves, so that we have the extra power in the engines to actually do what we need to do, and in the event of a go around that we have enough power to actually be able to do that. Right, so I'm going to wait until 20,000. When we get to 20,000, I'm going to start the APU as normal, as if we're on the ground, and then we'll start configuring the switches and switching on that high altitude system. one of the things that just came to my mind is you must be careful not to put the APU bleed on at the same time that your engine bleed is on, because if you are pushing any thrust through your engine and it goes in there, it can pop the poor old APU, you know. So idle is about the best you can do. Once you go above idle, you start running the risk of actually popping the APU, so you guys must be careful, eh? When we do the sequence, you need to remember to switch it on. It's in the C format, in the normal C, classical C, and then when you switch off, you work from the bottom in a reverse C format. One of the funny things about this tour and some of these airports where you land, you'll see even at 20 and 30,000 foot, some of these peaks are red. You must be careful. These mountains are extremely high. They are almost like Mount Everest high. And if you don't fly on the correct path, you're going to end up hitting one of those big mountains. I mean, just look how close the ground looks from us. It's crazy. We're at 28,000 foot and look how close the ground is.
Hello?
Hello?
How are you doing, guys?
All good in here?
Pretty good as well.
Good. Hey, Avon.
There's a new update, 21.
Yep. Yeah, I'm flying it now.
Is it good?
So far so good, yeah. I've had good reports from a couple of guys.
It's the yawing problem that people are having on landing
Yeah.
and takeoff.
And also the reverse thrust apparently, Mac.
Yeah.
There was an issue with reverse thrust pulling up too slowly. Yeah, Dave, but I see it is also working on the nerves of some of the users. My best advice is if you don't like the evolution, if you don't like the speed at which things happen, you know, just make yourself a nice working copy and then stick to it for a while and then update a little bit later again, you know. You don't have to keep up with all the updates, but I mean, if there is a problem, it needs to be resolved, and that's why the next update comes, you know. So, me personally, I like living on the edge.
Also, it's nice that when you've got problems, you don't have to live with them for 6 months waiting for an update.
Exactly. How many did we do this weekend? 3. that we actually
3,
released.
4, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Four since yesterday
Mm.
midday.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, was it 3? 3. 3 since yesterday midday. 4 since Friday.
Yes, Rob. You know, in all the years I've been pushing out these updates, I've managed to kind of figure out all the shortcuts. So in the beginning, it used to take me like half an hour to compile everything on my side and then to push it out and to make the torrent and all those things. I think I'm doing it in less than 5 minutes now. It's so quick. Chup, 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 and it goes. Right, we've just gone past 20,000, so we're going to start our APU. Once the APU is started, we're going to configure the pressurization system. Right, I'm going to switch on this high altitude landing pressurization system so long. The last thing you want to do is forget about it, and then you get that altitude horn and everything goes cockeye. Hey, Virtual Aviation. What's up? Good evening. Yes, I do. Got rudder pedals. Yeah, but I'm also, Rob, I'm also referring to setting up the server and setting up the torrents and everything. I've got little shortcuts that I built for myself here now, you know, that I can copy and paste from. It just makes life so much easier. All right, so the APU is running. We're not going to put the generators on the APU. What we want to do now is we want to put the passengers in the back on the APU. So what we're going to do is, if I can just zoom in a little bit, yeah, is we're going to use the checklist. So we're going to keep the left and the right back switch in auto, and then we're going to close the isolation valve. Then we're going to close the engine bleed that side, go to APU bleed, close the engine bleed that side. So now all the engine power remains in the engine, and the APU is pushing through the air to the back so the guys don't suffocate and die and get hypoxia and all those other nasty things. See?
Transition level. Ready for approach checklist.
Right, and just to make sure, we've got the high altitude landing system switched on. Now this thing must compensate and do its thing. Hello, John. That's weird. You keep centering the rudder button. What if you go into the EFB and you put your rudders to roll? Doesn't that connect to your actual yoke, and then you center it with the yoke? So you basically taxi with the yoke like driving a car. Have you tried that?
the other thing, does your yoke have a twist for rudder control on the?
He says it works for the Zibo. It's only the Zibo. I think we must tell him to only fly the Zibo, Mac. Yeah, that'll solve his problem.
Yeah, but I have just I can share my case. I have in my case was the rudder pedal that was having some noise, and I basically in Windows I get into the controller configuration, and I was able to basically remove the noise.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the other option.
Right, there's our anticipation cues. As you can see, we're doing the VOR DME approach. We're going to use the approach button because we have EN installed. That's also an option in EFB, so we can make it easier on ourselves. And our approach course is captured. There we go. Okay. Let's see if we can do this.
Radio altimeter.
Flight level 100, landing lights switches on. Thousand to level off. Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for landing. Ready for landing checklist.
I'm worried about.
1,000.
Is armed, auto brake is armed. Cabin is secure, lights on. 3 green, gear down. There we go.
Oh, you're landing with higher flaps.
Approaching
Okay.
decision height.
I'm
On
landing.
high altitude, I've seen it with like flaps like 5 or 10
Yeah.
or 515.
500. Clear to land runway
In this
10.
case, we're not that high yet. Once we get to land at 14,000 foot and things like that, we can start playing around a little bit. Because we also, when we did our testing initially, we realized that there's not much difference between a low flap setting and a high flap setting at that altitude. Ooh, and now I'm bloody going all over the place here. Sorry, guys. There we go. Better.
Speed break up. Reverse unlocked.
I think the last time we did some of the testing here, we used like flaps 5 for takeoff. Sorry, for landing. I'm talking nonsense. Flaps 5. And at some of the places we use like flaps 1 for takeoff. But now I'm speaking
Yeah,
Highlander correction, yeah.
Yeah. Great landing. You are professional.
So basically, Nico, this option simplify your preparation for doing this kind of landing, I guess.
Yes, it does. And also, look, it's also part of, you know, the legalities and things now, because if your altitude horn goes off, then you got to basically report and say, hey, what happened? Why did it go off? Did you forget something or whatnot? You know, there's certain things that you don't necessarily want to have happen. Also, you don't want the distraction of the altitude horn all of a sudden going crazy here on you while you're trying to land. You know, you're not in an alarm situation, right? So it gives you the ability to perform as if you were landing at normal altitudes, you know, and it keeps the altitude on, off, and all those kind of things. See, if we actually take that off now and we go back to normal configuration, what typically is going to happen is that altitude horn is going to pick up. There's a difference, okay? And one of the interesting things that is going to happen is you won't be able to open your doors, because it's going to see you're above 10,000 foot. It's going to think you're in the air. So you can't open your doors because of the differential difference. You know, and there's all kinds of funny little things like that, you know, you learn as you go on, you know, that, you know, you need to make a plan.
Super clear.
Yeah. Vaughn, you need to just update. Zibo's fixed that problem already. It was just part of the evolution of the Zibo mod. Don't worry about it. Just keep updating, because that should be all done now. After landing procedure.
After landing procedure.
You're welcome, Steve. Thanks for watching and being here.
After landing procedure complete.
Enjoy, John.
Flaps up and set.
Thank you so much. The nice thing now is we don't even have to start the AP, it's already running. Yeah, this is already available. You guys can go get it. Alright. There we go. You happy, Linda?
Ready for shutdown procedure.
Shutdown procedure.
Shutdown procedure.
Mummy, you forgot to update. You need to stay up to date, that's all. Go update your Zibo. That's it. Okay, let's quickly see if I don't know if it will trigger now, but once we get to the higher altitudes, you'll see. If you don't use this altitude, horn goes crazy and doors won't open. All kinds of funny things that happen. I know what Linda's waiting for. I think she's now completely confused. You're welcome into Sims. Yes, yeah, unpublished usually have an A in there. We can see. Here goes the doors. White box, yeah, that's a killer, that thing. All the lights are off, everything is done. Here we go, now it's unloading. Right, hopefully when we go up higher and all, I can actually show you. But you guys can go play with it as well. You can go and start auto see from cold and dark all the things that go wrong before you switch this magic button on. Anyway, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was nice being here. I got my fix for the weekend at least. It's 10:20 now. It's time to go and prepare for bed. You guys must have fun. Enjoy the Zibomod, and we'll speak to you guys as soon as possible again, eh? Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much, Nick.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it.